Hi, this is Steffi's Beads and Baubles, and I'm doing a video to show you how to make a cactus ornament. Now, I don't do a full tutorial. More toward the end, I do a little bit more of showing you how I do the edging, showing you how I switch it, how I do the loop. But the basic sewing on the sequins, I don't really show in this. If you need help with that, below in the comments, I have a basic ornament tutorial which will tell you everything to do to make a basic ornament, and then you just use that information to make pretty much any ornament. And I also have an edging tutorial. Even though there is an edging in the basic tutorial, I do a second tutorial on edging. But this is the one. It's a little cactus. I had to figure out how to do the little spikes. I did flowers. I wanted it to be Christmassy. Now, to do it again, I wouldn't do the pot this way. I'm not real happy with how the bugle beads came out. And I'm not sure, in this application, I don't think I like the green and red pot. I think if I was going to do this one again, and I mentioned this later in the video, because I had to record the video making it and then do the front, here's the finished video, or finished piece, because I don't want to make 2 or 3 of them like I used to. When I first started doing these videos, I would finish one, and then I'd do 3 or 4 partially done ones, like I'd do a front, and then I'd show you how to do the edge, and then I'd show you how to start one. I'd do the whole thing by doing one whole front, and some partials, and it just took too much time. So now what I'm doing is reversing it. So you're seeing the finished piece, but I'm recording this after I did the video. But if I did it again, I'd probably use the blue and not do multicolor. So this is going in my Etsy shop, and I mentioned that later in the video. So by the time this posts, this should be in my Etsy shop. But I thank you so much for watching this, and I hope you enjoy it. I tried to give you as much information as possible, and tried a couple things that didn't really work out the way I thought. Kind of how I looked at this is, you know, those Pinterest fails where they show what it looks like and how it came out. It's not quite that bad, but what I had in my head is not quite what came out. I like the basics, but some of the colors I'm not happy with. But still cute. I love the shape. I love the ornament. And after I get a few orders done, I will be making one for myself and maybe a couple as gifts, but because I make a lot of Christmas ornaments for my family for gifts. So anyway, so enjoy this, and I will be cutting now to how I designed this and made it. Okay, so I wanted to show you how I go about the process of designing something like this. Now, I want to have the pot a different color, so I stamped out the back, and I just stamped out the pots. And the way I did that is I literally just stamped out the bottom of the cookie cutter. I did it in blue, and I did it in red, and I'm still deciding which one I want to use, but I'm pretty sure for the first one, since I want it to be real Christmassy, I'll do the red. And I'm thinking of doing a red and green striped pot, so it'll be up and down red and green. Now, after looking at pictures of art, not real cactus, most people tend to use a light green. So I got out all my lighter greens. Now these are some metallics I've had for 30 years. This is some of the ones I've collected over the last 15 years. Well, this is what Cartwrights used to look like. When I first started buying from them, they bagged them themselves and then put these little cardboard things. And just to show you the difference, this is a light chartreuse, and there's their new light chartreuse. And I think there's a 50-cent difference. I think this one had 1,000 count and was $1 like 15 years ago or something like that. And this one is the same 1,000, but it's like $1.50 now, and it's all prepackaged. But I wanted to get out all the different, I have a couple different chartreuse. I have a Mystic Meadow, a light chartreuse sour apple. And why do I always promote Cartwrights? It's not that I'm promoting them. Before Cartwrights, I couldn't find that many colors. Now, that said, you can go to Michael's and Hobby Lobby and get quite a few. But you can't get 20, 30 different colors of green. And I can do that at Cartwright. They don't know me. They don't give me a penny. This is just me saying I like them. I don't have a coupon code. I don't even have a link to them because I'm not affiliated with them. But it took me a long time to find them, and when I did, I felt like I'd won the lotto. So if you want a wide variety, if you find a place that's as good, let me know. But for now, I have not. So they seem to have a corner on the market. But I have everything from like this limey green to some chartreuses to I want to do a metallic. And then here's one that's really crazy called sour apple. You can see that yellowy. And I think I'm going to eliminate that one just to show you. This is my shoebox full of all my greens. These are just my green sequins. The shoebox is full. All different shades of greens. So I pulled out the ones that I thought were the most appropriate. I have this willow green, but I don't like satin for the ornaments, except as an accent. So we'll eliminate the satin. This one's an opaque, but I think it's too light. And this is the difference between light chartreuse opaque, and this is light chartreuse iridescent. Now they're both the same color, but look at the difference. Can you see that? They don't even look like the same sequin, but this is a sheer see-through one, which I do believe I want to use. I think that's the one. I don't want to use anything with like yellows and golds in it. That one has that. This one has too much iridescent, like screaming. Well, it's called Groovy Green, and it is. It's got a lot of iridescent, wild color. That's not appropriate. I like the medium chartreuse, but it is an opaque and not very shiny. It's got a little shimmer. This one is the light chartreuse, the original bag. Same as this. I don't think there's any difference in the quality of those two. I don't like the opaque for this. It's too yellowy. This is Margarita, one of my newer opalescents, but again, too much yellow. Limelight, yeah, lime, no. And the last one was this metallic green, which I really like, but I just think having this sheer, I really like using these sheer sequins because when you put them over the felt, they take on a little bit of the color of the felt below them, as well as add a little bit of their own color. And since this one has a resealable bag in it, I think I'm going to use the original bag. See, it has a little zipper bag in it, and I'll put this one away. So I think I'm going to use the chartreuse, the light chartreuse sheer. And then I have some red flowers that I'm going to put, and since it's a Christmas ornament, I'm going to add a little bit of this cute little lights somehow. And I'm thinking of seeing if I can put a few spines as well with some black sequins and seed beads. Now, I will say this, when you look at a real cactus, it's more white than black, but when you're doing an artistic thing, you can kind of change it to suit what you want to do. So the body of it will be mostly the chartreuse, and in some of the chartreuse sequins, I'm going to add some black spines. So what I'll do is, instead of just putting a seed bead on top of this, I will come up through the sequin, put a bugle bead, then a seed bead, go back down through the bugle bead only, the seed bead will be the anchor, and back through the sequin. And just do them randomly, but what I've noticed is they're done in lines. So they're done in lines. So I may do those first, but the first thing I'll do is I'll fill around, like I always do, fill around the whole thing, adding some flowers, because the flowers are going to be on the corners and the top. And once that's all filled in, this can come off for now, but I'll just leave it. I just make sure I go to the bottom of that. Well, I'll probably be doing this one. It doesn't matter. Just the bottom's the difference. So after I get it all outlined and then the flowers on, then I'll start adding some of the spines. I'm not going to do like the whole row. I'll just do some random ones, or fewer rows maybe. We'll see. I'll probably do complete rows, just not real close together. As I said, this is an artistic piece. It doesn't need to look realistic, but it's something fun. I thought it'd be a neat thing to try. So why not? Because I have jewelry that's made that way, where they took bugle beads and seed beads and went through in those little, I don't know if you've seen those little metal discs that they make earrings out of, and they bead them onto this metal disc with holes. Well, I've seen them done with bugle beads and seed beads. So I thought it'd be fun to try on this. So let's see. And then I picked a real pretty red, and kind of a Christmas red. And before I dumped all my sequins on the floor, yes, I did that, I had a Christmas green. I was going to stripe this, let's see, here's some nice vintage Christmas green. So this will be used for the little pot to stripe it. These are the flowers. I got to get some red seed beads. I've got my black, and I've got to get green seed beads in this light color, and I do have some. So I'll be back once I have all these materials together, and I'll come back after I've done around the row, added the flowers, which this is just like adding a regular, like doing a regular ornament. I'll just come up through this with the red seed bead and go back down. I might even use a yellow seed bead to do the center of a flower. But I'll come back when all that's done and show you how it looks, and then we'll do some of the spines. And we'll find out together if it's going to look okay or not. Should be interesting. So I just wanted to try something different, and I told you that's what I did with this channel, is I wanted to try new things. Now as for this, I'm not exactly sure how I'll add it. Might be after the whole thing's done, I'll just lightly tack this in. I haven't decided. May not even use it, but we'll see. I just thought it'd be fun. You can buy these at Hobby Lobby with the discount when they're on sale for like $1. So I figured I had this one already, I'd give it a try. We'll see. But I want to make a fun Christmas ornament that's a little bit different. So I'll be back after I've done the whole outline, added the flowers, and then we start doing the spines. So I'll be back in a bit. Well, to you it'll be just now, but okay. I'll be back. I was going through getting out yellow beads and wasn't planning on showing that, but I wanted to show you the kind of thing I deal with on a daily basis. Things that break open, and I was going through my yellows and there was something broken open. So I literally have to take everything out, and I know which bead it is, and I have to put it in a fresh bag. It's this one right here. There's a couple other loose beads in there, but I had a lot of trouble with one particular place I bought from, and it was this one, Aura Crystals. I had a lot of trouble with their bags breaking. I'm almost to the point where if I order from them, I'm going to rebag them as soon as I get them, because this is ridiculous. This has happened more than once. So this is the kind of thing that happens often when I'm doing a project like this. I get sidelined. And you can see there's just enough other yellow in there, which I've got to figure out which that one is, that I can't just scoop them up and put them away. I have to pick out those yellows. So this is the life of a beader. You got to really secure your items. And if you do buy from Aura Crystals, they have an amazing supply of of jewelry supplies, including really nice seed beads. These are called a silver lined milky light, and they're gorgeous. But if you buy from them, you can see there's holes in the bags. Re-bag them immediately, because this has happened to me mainly on these milky ones, to be honest with you. I've got these milky in like 5 or 6 colors, and I think those are the ones for some reason. So when you buy bagged beads, it's not a bad idea to repackage them, because oftentimes they use real cheap bags. And anyway, just wanted to show you what I was doing. I decided to go with this bright yellow, which those are easy to find. They're just a silver lined. Wanted to go with those, but noticed this leak in the bottom of the bag and had to handle it. So I'm laying out. I got my thread here. I got the red flowers. I got the green sequins. Here's the chartreuse seed beads, which I got these at Tuesday Morning a while back, but I'm sure these are pretty easy to find online as well. And I've got my cutout here ready to go, and I got some red seed beads that I'm going to be using for the base. These are from Hobby Lobby. I buy them when they're half off, which is quite often. So I still got to get my green seed beads, which will probably be the same thing, although I've got tons of red and green in bags too. But I wanted to show you, this is what happens. So when you buy anything online that comes in a bag instead of a tube, Many times the Tohos come in a tube, and these I leave in the tube. But now here's another one I bought from them that did not rip. It seems to be these Milkies. It's always been the Milky Lights, the amethyst, the pink, the white. Those are the ones that broke, and I don't know why. So just be careful. If you order anything in a bag, tape up the sides of the bag even. And I will do that on all my bags before I put them away. I'll take Scotch. I've got clear Scotch tape, and I will touch them up. This will probably be about a half-hour detour, but I wanted to share it with you because this is just something that happens. We have a lot. This is just my yellow. I have them in a little bag. I basically have a tub that I have every color in a bag. Some are gallons, like the whites. Some are just the quart bags, but frustrating. So I'll be back. Bye. That little tool I tried to show you before that I was missing, this is the one I was talking about. It was on a tray. What I like about it is I can pick one little bead out, and I don't know if you can see that, move it, and it makes sorting beads so much easier when you have something like this. Now I don't know what it is. It says on it, the Incredible Protection System TIPS. It's an old piece. I got it for like 25 cents at a yard sale. If anybody knows what it is, I'd love to know, but it works perfect for this. So if you have anything or can make something like this with a tip, it helps you when you have to sort beads or sequins quickly. Anyway, I wanted to show you because I couldn't find it that day, and it was on a tray. I figured it was somewhere, and I thought, you know what, I bet I used it on a tray of beads, and sure enough. But I wanted to show you that, so when you're sorting, if you can get something with a little tip like this, it just makes it so much easier to pull those odd things out. Anyway, just showing you the process. Okay, I wanted to come back and show you what I did, and I totally outlined the cactus, and I added the little red flowers, and I did red because it is going to be a Christmas ornament. And now I'm going to start the first row where I start to add the spines, or what do they call them? I don't know, I think they're called spines on a cactus. I couldn't tell you for sure, but the thorns, spikes, whatever they're called. I'm going to do the first row, and I'll come back and show you how it came out. It may be ripped right back out, but let's give it a try and see how it turns out. I'll be right back. Okay, I've only done two, and I've already come to the conclusion that that little vision in my head, that Pinterest vision, will not look right. So I think I'm going to tear those out. And what I might try to do is maybe put a different color, slightly different color sequin, or just do the whole thing in green and then put the ornaments on. I haven't decided, but that I just can tell right now. It's not going to look the way I want. It's just going to look weird. So I'm going to tear that back out, and I'll come back when I've done one whole arm and let you see it. But yeah, I don't even need to do more. The vision in my head is not what I thought it would look like. And that's probably why most felt ornaments, not even beaded, felt ornaments don't put spikes. Sometimes they'd put like lines, like they would embroider lines to equal that, but nothing that protrudes because it just looks weird. And I think if I did the whole thing, it would just look odd. It wouldn't look like a cactus. So, hey, had to try it. Gonna tear that out, and I'll come back when I've done one arm and we'll see how that looks, just green. And I'll work in the ornaments as well. I'll be back. Okay, I like my compromise. I looked at a few where they put dots where the thorns or spikes would be. So that's what I'm going to do. And I do them in kind of a line alternating with plain sequins. So I'm going to do the same going up the middle, and then I'll do the same. I'll go up the middle, and then I'll do another little application of it on this side. So I'll be back when I am done. And so far on this ornament, I haven't done anything really unusual. The flowers I put on just like I do the regular sequins. And I was hoping to do something new and special, and I ended up not. But I still like it. So I'll be back when I finish the front, and then we'll talk about how I'm going to do the pot. Okay, here is the finished top of the cactus. I've got red flowers on the top of each branch. Now I just got to do the pot. Now I'm not sure if I'm going to go ahead and use this green one or if I'm going to use a red one and stitch it on top for a little more thickness. But I have to think about it, and I'll be back when I decide what to do and show you the pot, and then I'll tell you everything I did. Let me flip this around so you can see the top better. Once I edge it, it'll look a little better. So I will be back in a little bit to show you how I did what I decided to do, if I was going to just use this green one or put the red one on top to make it a little thicker. I just don't know yet. I'm going to think on it, but when I come back, you'll see it. So I'll be right back. For me, it'll be a while, but for you, it'll be right back. So I'll be right back and show you what I did. Okay, I wanted to come back right before I finished the pot to kind of show you what I've been doing. So I put the flowers on the top tips, which kind of bend in, back, but when I stitch it together, that'll pull it forward. And then the pot, I don't think I like this. I think if I did it again, I would do a more solid, but I just was having fun playing. And I left the last couple stitches in case somebody needed a refresher. Basically what I'm doing on the bottom of the pot here, and the problem is normally I do the edge and I fill in, but when you're alternating, you can't do that. So I might have a little lip at the bottom here, but if I do, I'll simply trim both pieces so it matches. But I'm alternating. So like right now I'm going to do a green sequin with a red bead, because the one before was a red bead with a green sequin. And I'm going to put that on there, and I'm just going to pull it as close as I can, and then I just pull it through the sequin only. So let me show you that again. And I know I should have put this at the beginning, but I wasn't planning on being a tutorial as much as just showing you a new ornament and what I did. I'm disappointed that doing the spines did not work out. Now I'm doing a red with a green seed bead. I don't know if that shows up well. Let me see if that's showing up. But I used a red sequin, green seed bead, and I let it go down. Then when I go back through, I only go through the sequin. I do not go back through the seed bead. And that seed bead then anchors it together. And I think it might be... Now see, unfortunately my bottom row is going to be a little close together. I'm not going to have as much overlap. I'm going to have a green with a green. But like I said, it was an experiment, and I'm always going to show you my experiments. And I'm not real happy with how this pot, I think it's too busy. But it's okay. I had to try it, and I'll probably, and then see, I'm just pulling see the seed bead is on the thread. And I'm pulling the thread through, and the seed bead anchors it. Okay, and I'm just going to leave it like that, because when I do the edging, I think it'll be fine. So this is the finished front. Now I'll do a real quick tutorial on the edging for those of you that haven't watched a tutorial. I have linked below my basic ornament tutorial and my basic edging tutorial. But I'm going to do on here, on the pot, I'm going to do it one way. On the cactus, I will do it another way. Now, because I already had the thread on there, I just looped around to secure it. And on the pot, I'm going to do a green, a red, and a green to start. You always start with 3. And I want the red to be the tip of it, and I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to loop right next to where I looped. And when you do this, make sure everything's lined up really well, because you can't fix it once you get going. Now, you see, I'm going to go back up through that last green one right there. And when I pull it, it'll make a little triangle. And see how the red is the tip of the triangle. I've got lots of light here. I'm not exactly sure why this isn't brighter. Hoping the video is better than it looks on camera. Now, after you've done the first 2, all I do is the red. If you hear a cat in the background, that's our Max. He's a needy kitty, and his daddy's yelling at him right now. It's our son's cat. Our son works from home, so it's kind of rough on him when Max gets needy. But again, I put a red first and then a green, so that when I pull it, it's going to make that triangle again with the red at the tip. And I'm pulling it tight again. And as I go around, it'll do the green on the bottom, red on the top. Now when I get to right here, get the needle. When I get to right here, I'm going to switch to a chartreuse green. I believe I'm going to use this one. Let me get that under the camera. It's called it's Rainbow Frosted Lime Green Toho 11O. I got this one from Lima Beads, but you can probably find it. And I've noticed sometimes the names will be different even though it's the same bead. But this one I like because it's got a rainbow, which means the finish on it is kind of different colors when you move it in the light. And these sequins are that way. So when I get to here, I'll switch it over to that. But I'll come back when the edging's done. Now another thing I'm going to do as I stitch it together, I'll take a little bit of cotton, and you can use the little cotton balls that come in the bags that you use in the bathroom for your makeup and stuff, or if you buy vitamins or even get medicines that have cotton in the top, that cotton is perfect because it's real fluffy, it pulls apart easily, and that's my favorite. So I've got a big jar of it. I've got several jars of it actually, and I will be lightly, just barely stuffing it as I go. And so basically I'll come up to about here, maybe even like that, and then I'll gently fill this. I'll fill this side. I'll probably put a little bit in there, and then as I do this, I'll fill in there, and then I'll come around, and as I do this arm of it, I'll stuff that, and then as I come down, I'll gently be pushing the stuffing in. And it sounds crazy, but I use the tips of my scissors to do it. You might want to pick something that's a little less sharp. I've never had an accident, but that's what I've always done, is used my little scissors to shove it up in there. And then as I finish stitching, as I finish getting down to about the bottom here, I'll make sure this is all nice and just gently stuffed. I don't want it like bulging. I just like a little bit of stuffing in mine. You can make them really fat if you want. I mean, that's good too. But that's what I do. So I'll be back and show you the finished one, and then I'll show you how I do the loop. And just to tell you, when you get to here, you just switch the color. So like if I start in the corner here and it's going to end up over here, I'll do the dark green, and then I'll do a chartreuse because I don't want to have a red go over here. So I just have to play by ear. Sometimes I might be able to get it all the way to there, then start the green here, and then we'll do the same thing when I get down here. And when I get into a really tight corner, I may only add one bead, not two. You just play it by ear. So that's what I'll be doing. So I'll come back in a minute when this whole piece is done and show you how I do the loop. Okay, I decided I'd share something with you because I really never share this with you. But I did not want to put red thread inside of, I decided to go with these instead, these chartreuse, because the ones I were going to use, they're a little opaque, and I didn't think they would look as good with the sparkly. So I decided to do a clear sparkly instead, but I don't want to put a red thread through there. And I've never really shown you how to tie off a thread when you're in the middle of edging. So I thought I'd show you real quick what I do. So I take, and I've come up through the bead as normal, and I'm just going to go into the felt. Now usually I do it on the side that's stitched because you'll never see it. And so I'll just go in and I'll pull it tight and just do what I always do when I tie off, and that's just go around a few, and if you hear the phone, I'm texting with my husband and my friend Cheryl right now. So you may hear a little text tone, but I don't want to turn it off because I get so involved I forget, and I forget I'm texting, and so I don't want to do that. I'm just showing you this quick step. So then what I'll do is after I go through each direction, I will cut the thread, and then all I'm going to do is get the green thread, which I have a light green thread here, and I will tie a knot in it. I will loop through this area that I just tied off, and then just come right back up through the seed bead and start with the chartreuse, which I'll come back and show you that. It's just too hard to show you all these. It takes forever to, sometimes it takes me a while to thread it. So I'll come right back and show you that. Okay, took me a minute. I actually had the right color of thread. I forgot I had this chartreuse. I should have used it on the front as well, but I went with this bright green because I was going more with the yarn. As you can see what it looks like in the back, it really matches well. But I should have done this because I think it would have been better on the front. But that's what I did. So what I do is after I've gone through, I'm going to go through that knot that I tied. I'm just going to go right through there. And if you go through the back, no one will ever see it because it's hidden by the stitches you did. And we go through it a couple times. And then I'm just going to go right back up through the bead. I don't know if you can see where I came out, the top of that bead. I'm going to make sure I'm going through that bead. Okay, I'm back up through the bead, and then I'll just pull till all the threads through, and then now I can actually start, because I'm on the chartreuse now, I can pick up 2 chartreuse beads and continue on. Now, if you're using a white or a black thread for your whole project, you don't have to do this. But if, like me, you decide to buy all the different colors and you want them to match, you can change it out when it's going to be a long... I wouldn't do it for little sections. I've got an order from my friend to do a candy cane where I stripe the edging. Normally I do the candy cane all in one color edge. But I did do one that she saw a picture of where it's red with red edging, white with white edging, but I still use the same color thread, usually a white, through that whole edge. But when you're doing such a big piece, and mind you, when I get to the red flowers, I'm going to go ahead and put red where the flowers are. But I can use this color because it won't show through the red. But this chartreuse is so light, so let me put one more. And again, I'm just adding 2 at a time. And keep that little triangle going. Now these aren't as good a quality. I will be honest, as much as I adore Cartwright's sequins, their seed beads are not the greatest. They really aren't. But it's the only one I have that's this color. So that'll be my next goal, is to get online to either Auntie's Beads Direct or Aura Crystals and find a Toho brand. These are Toho. That's a chartreuse, but it's a sparkly one. Either a clear, silver lined, or something along the lines of this one, which is an iridescent Rochelle, but in a Toho that's really much more regular. So that's where I'm at. So I'll come back and show you when I'm done edging it, and then we'll go ahead and do the loop. Just wanted to show you real quick what happens sometimes. As you're stitching the sequins on, it pulls the felt. This was the same size as this when I first did it, but as you can see, as I'm moving up, you can tell that this is going to be a little big right in here. I don't know if you can, let me get that up under the camera. There's definitely a difference in the 2 edges. And so what I will do when I get to about right before that point, if I see that it's definitely going to be off, I'll lightly trim this before I stitch. I will first see if I can flatten this out to totally fit, and I might be able to, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Now right now part of it is, but I still have extra on this side. I don't know if you can see that. I'm just not sure what the camera's picking up. So you will sometimes have to trim it just with little tiny scissors as you go around, because no matter how hard you try to match it, just the sheer, sewing them together does this. See what it does? All those little stitches pulls it up. See how it's curling up here? Because I've sewn it and I've pulled, and you can see all the stitches that I do. And it's a lot of stitches. Each one's a hand stitch, so it does pull the felt. It makes it thicker and stiffer. But I still put that little bit of cotton in just to give it a little extra stiffness. And this is what I have. See, I have a whole jar of, we buy a lot of supplements, so I have a whole jar of years and years of this wonderful cotton out of my vitamins and supplements. And I like how it's longer and fluffs out nice, and you can really get that into the bits, because you can tear little slivers of it off. Now, when I first started making these things, mainly the angels, I used the cotton balls that you have in your bathroom. And one day when I opened something up, more than likely a supplement, I said, hey, that's great cotton. So I have this bottle full of it, another one about this size, and then I have a big jar full of it. And then I think I gave a jar to one of my grandkids. I don't know if she gave that back or not. So I have a ton of this, and we get supplements every year, so I probably get enough to fill this jar every year or two. And one of these lasts me a while. It does more than one ornament. This one will probably do maybe 2. I'll probably use about this much for the cactus. When you hold it up, you can kind of see. This one will probably do the cactus, and then the other half will do another one. So anyway, I just wanted to show you that as you're stitching it together, you really need to flatten it out as you go around the corners and edges, and if you can just see that there's going to be a tiny bit too much, you can trim it. Now if it's pretty close, leave it. Like on this side, it looks like I might have to trim it, but this side I might be okay. So, you know, you just got to get used to doing it and play it by ear. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm up to here and I'm about to go around, and I will put red from here to here. Starting here, I'll put red all the way to there, and then green, and then do the same here to here, and the same here to here. Just to highlight that red a little bit. And I left the red on my tray to use. So these are a metallic red flower. And they're not perfectly like a cactus flower, but this is supposed to be a Christmas ornament. So I had some little lights I was going to put on here. Not sure yet if I'm going to do it or not. I just don't think on this particular one, there's any way to do it. I think I'm going to do it the next time, and I have an idea, and I'll do another cactus later and show you my idea of adding the lights with the string to make it look right. But I've got to figure it out. So this is the first one. I will be honest with you, not thrilled with it, not what I wanted. So when you see this video, this will probably be on Etsy. But I'm going to make another one after I do my 2 orders. I have a parrot for Lisa at Desert Dragon Works, and I have 3 beaded ornaments for my friend. So I don't know if she'll mind me saying Fran. Hey, Fran. So she's getting 3 ornaments that she ordered from me, and then I have the parrot. After I do those 2, I might do if I do the other cactus, it'll be on the side, and I will show it in another video, because I have several plates over there. I have Chinette plates with some ornaments on it that I want to do for you guys. So I don't want to do 2 ornaments on 2 videos on a cactus, so I'll come back and show you the other one when I get it done. But anyway, I'll be back with the finished edging, and we'll do the loop. Okay, I finished the ornament. I'd be done sooner, but when I got back to the pot, I went all the way to here and realized I'd done it in all red. And I'm like, oh no. So I had to tear it all out and redo it with the green and red. So finally got it done. I'm really late. I wanted to get this done by noon, and it's almost 3:30. So I'm going to show you how I do the loop. And what I do is I start with, I meant to double this. I put the needle, I thread the needle. And then normally I have it doubled, I forgot. But I double the thread because I want the loops really strong, because that's a part of the ornament that could get tugged on if somebody's putting it on a branch and then pulls it too hard, or a child pulls on it. You want it as strong as possible. These ornaments are fairly durable, but to keep the loop strong, it's a better idea to double the thread. And I try to do this whether I do it with a solid loop or if I do it with a clasp. The ornaments I usually do with a loop because they're going on a tree, but the clasps I put on my angels and anything that somebody might want to hang somewhere other than a tree, like a rear view mirror or onto a lamp or around something. Then I'll put a loop with a magnetic clasp. Now what I do is I take my needle and I put it in between the beads and find where it hangs level. And you know, after doing this for so long, I'm pretty good at kind of figuring it out. So once I get it so it hangs level, I know I have to go in that area to hang it. So what I'll do is I will find the bead that's on the edge, not the point, and I will get the needle into the felt and go up through that bead. I don't know if you can see that good. Let's see. So I go through the felt. I'm not going to go around and around because I'll do that at the end. So I go up through that first bead, and then I'm going to pull the thread through and double check that it's actually through the bead. Then I just simply add beads to the thread until I get, I just take and start putting beads on the needle. It's hard to do this with, trying to do it on camera and the beads are fighting me here. Okay, there we go. Once you get a little bit of pattern, not pattern, what's the word, the rhythm, you can start getting it. But you just start putting them on, and I usually fill up my needle, and then I will pull them down the thread, and you want to make sure you get them nice and tight at the start. And then I will come back right before I put the needle through and show you how I finish it off. Okay, so I measure 6 inches on my ruler, and that's how much beadwork I put to make a 3-inch loop. And I look at where I came through to start the loop, and then I go to the next bead over. So I cross over, I look at where it comes out, and I go over to, on this one I'm skipping, yeah, so you can see I'm skipping over this red bead on top and going down through the next loop. Then we can hang it and see if it hangs straight, and it does. Before you tie it off, just make sure you like how it hangs. It looks good. So now that's when I will tie this knot up and make it more secure. So that's when I kind of keep the threads kind of above the knot, and I pull the threads around the knot just above it, and then I go around it, and I secure that knot by going through it a couple different directions. I don't go actually through the knot, but around and over it, and I secure it. I used to actually go through the felt a couple of times when I knotted it for the loops, and then I realized I don't really need to, as long as I secure it well at the end, which I do anyway. So I warn you, when you do these, they really catch on the sequins. And then I just go through the other direction and cut it off. There we go, and this is done. And there's the ornament. So I'm going to go ahead and get this posted. It took me longer to get this video up. I just had a lot going on, but things are calmed down now, and I should be able to get on a better schedule. But like I said, I tried some new things. I tried doing the spikes, didn't work. I do like how the flowers came out, and I do like how the black dots look. But I wish I'd used a slightly darker color. Probably more like the color on the front. I thought these clear sequins, they were very pale green, would show more of that color, but it didn't. If I had it to do over, I would have done the pot probably in the blue. I think it would have gone better with the light green. But, you know, it's still good. It's still cute. But if I make one for me, if I do use the same green, I'll use this, or I'll use a darker green. I haven't decided. I might still use this green and just do the blue pot for one for me, but I'll go ahead and put this in my shop if somebody wants it. So by the time this video posts, this should be in my Etsy shop, and I'll try to remember to put a link in the description box below. So, but I thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. This can be done so many different ways. And this is a cookie cutter I bought on Amazon for a few bucks. It's very readily available. There's lots of cactus. There's even sets of cactus you can buy. And I can't remember if this was part of a set or an individual. I don't even remember. I think it was individual though. Yes, I know it was. I bought this in the Sasquatch or Bigfoot at the same time. So, but if you like cactus, you can find whole sets for like 10 bucks with 3 or 4 different cactus plants. And a cactus is a really easy thing to draw out too in the pot. So even if you're not the best artist in the world, which you probably are a better artist than you think, this is pretty easy to draw. And I've actually pulled up my computer, pulled up a picture of something and taken a piece of paper and lightly traced around it with a pencil. Then once it's on paper, you can fix it and make it your own. That is how I did a recent one. Oh, the lobster. I found a cookie cutter online. I didn't love it, but I liked the basic shape, so I traced it. And once it was on paper, I changed the claws, I changed the tail, I moved it around a little bit and made it my own, and then I cut it out and traced it onto cardboard and cut out the cardboard shape. That way you get exactly what you want. You don't have to use what's out there. Now this I thought was perfect just the way it is. But anyway, this is going to be a really long video, so I'm going to let you go. I've still got to tape or record the beginning with the finished video, finished piece, to put at the front of the video. So I'm going to do that right now. And I will be back soon. I've got a couple little hauls to show you, and I've got more ornaments to do. So I'll be back soon. Thank you so much. Bye.